Okay.
Peace. I am Prince Rafeeq Heru with the Order of the Angel of Truth, here with some of my companions, brothers, fellow gods. We're going to be dealing with different aspects of cosmology, particularly how the cosmologies of our collective culture are all intertwined and interrelated, and also in the various systems such as the Kemetic or the Khmer cosmology, as well as the Yoruba or the Ifa cosmology, how it's really a science. And the aim and the objective in this day and age that we're in is to get out of the religious practice of systems. The religious mindset at this point is we're out of that time, and at this point it's really holding the people back. So we want to begin to start looking at how to pierce into the science of these systems and merge science and spirituality back together, taking the mysticism out of it, because there is no mystery God. I have my companions with me.
Brother Olu Dare, my aunt Olu Dare, my aunt.
And we also have the elder.
Brother Arthur O.B. Rahim Ill.
All right. In the common theme throughout every cosmology is how the universe or all of creation came into being. And in just about every cosmology that you look at, it speaks about the origin of creation coming from what we would call an infinite absolute darkness. And from that, from that infinite absolute darkness, the ideation or the thought process of the Most High is what began to be expressed into differentiation or into dynamic thought forms, which begin to take on the specific intents and dimensions that were present but dormant or unmanifested within the absolute. It was through that science that the ancestors were able to understand creation, but not only able to understand creation, but to get a personal relationship with the laws, principles, and formulas of creation and those entities that were responsible or that were the personality of those laws, principles, and formulas. What we call universal law and universal principles are the manifestation of entities or the manifestation of gods and goddesses. And it's the interaction of those entities and of those laws and principles that give way to creation or manifestation. So, as I was saying, the ancestors use cosmology to understand the creation and to begin to personally interact with the divine entities, the divine forces. Through that interaction, certain knowledge and wisdom was being imparted on how to establish life and a particular way of life which will bring humanity back into the Godhead, which is also a process of creation and evolution. So we're going to pass it to Brother Olu Dare, who is very, very knowledgeable in the Yoruba and the Ifa, to give us a little bit more understanding into the, to the details and the depths of the practice, the science of Yoruba and Ifa.
Just to follow up on what the brother was speaking about, which is cosmology. it's basically divine law and how our people understood the dynamics of divine law and how it works in conjunction with life on the planet as we know it. Going back to the cosmology of Ifa, in their system, they speak of what you call Olu Dare, which would be that eternal source or eternal parent or infinite source of knowledge. And from that, everything spans forth in terms of the consciousness of what's being moved forward, which is energies and different types of energies, and the manifestations in which those energies are being brought forth, or the vibrations in which they're being commanded to come forth. From that, once you get into the culture, you start to learn that there's different aspects or different degrees and stages of where those energies are concentrated. And the energies that affect the human or affect our lifestyle the most is the what they call the Orisha, which has a direct effect on the life and the way that we live life on the planet. And in conjunction, we're in tune, or we have those energies within us also. So getting into the science of it, you're really getting into what you call the Ori of it. And what I mean by the Ori, I mean you're talking about the head of that particular energy, in which we also have a head which is split into hemispheres, the right brain and the left brain. And the science of that is that the Ori, everything comes from the head, and the energy that's brought forth also has a head, and it makes conscious decisions. It's alive, just like we are. And when we get into the Yoruba culture, and you're dealing with the different Orisha, well, first, before I go into that, basically, if we were making a pie, we were going to fill the pie with a certain type of filling, and we were going to use product or something that you squeeze the filament into the pie. That casing that's going to hold the filament would be what Olu Dare is, and the filament, what makes up the filament, would be what they call the Odu. What goes inside of it would be the Orisha. And when that is squeezed into the cake is the molding of a human or the earth. And when that's squeezed into that, that is the essence of pure positive energy coming from darkness into light, and squeezed into light, and light is bring, and then its consciousness is brought, and all those have different type of mission or commands that they have to carry out once they get there.
So that process would apply to any living thing or any created thing throughout the universe?
Yes.
Anything created throughout the universe has an essence of the Odu, the Ori, and Olu Dare within it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just to add a little bit of clarity.
Yes, thank you. And all that is brought forth from the Ori of the internal source, being that it has a male side and a female side. And when you get down into, once it's brought forth into this physical plane, into this manifestation of vibration, then we are charged with understanding that which we came through as humans and what our destiny or our divine path is here on this realm.